lot for joining us. So we have not got much on this game week. Wasn't really too fussed about doing a stream, but I thought I'd let you guys have a wee vote and say, listen, would you be up for it? And if you are, brilliant, let's do something. And if not, hey ho, we'll have a wee night off. I think we'll be somewhere in the middle tonight. Basically, we'll just be running a Q&A or an AMA, depending on where you're from, what you call it, kind of thing. And last time we done this, it was I'd probably say a resounding success. I think all of the topics were brilliant. I think it was some great content. I had a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, let's see if you guys turn up to the party again tonight. If you're watching this after we've been live, thank you very much. Please do drop a like on the video. It helps me a lot, means a lot. Thank you in advance. And if you're here with me live, of course, please do drop a question and smash a like. And yeah, and we'll just go through whatever. I'll kind of mess about on screen, talk about some gibberish that just falls out of my mouth as per usual. Maybe the odd nugget of gold here and there, maybe the odd crumb of shite, maybe somewhere in the middle. Let's see what happens. Again, managed to get 2 videos out today, so if you haven't checked them out, by all means feel free to do so. First 10 cards you should be buying on SoRare, and episode 5 of how to build your club assets. Had a lot of fun making both of them. I hope you enjoyed them. And the first 10 one, I really tried to give myself a lot of time making that one. I thought, I'm just going to mess about with all this stuff I can click and add things and all that kind of stuff. So I put in some wee things, and again, hope that went down a treat. Because I had a good bit of fun just clicking about with all that stuff and trying to push the boat out a wee bit more. So, you know, TBC on that one, to be continued. Alex Dobbins is in the house. Alex, good to see you, my man. Moldy, evening. And Mikey, evening, good to see you. Misaki, good to see you back in town. And Shrewsbury Wolf. Hi Quinny, how are you doing? First question of the night. I'm doing pretty well. A long day of hard work, which is always good, I think, on the soul. You know, when you get to this time of day, you're like, oh, I just want to, you know, go to bed, do nothing, you know, chill out, or look at some cards. It's always a good activity. Up the Shrewsbury Wolf, up the Wolves. I think I've told you before, I think Moldy, you remember this, but my son is kind of semi-adopted Wolves as a club. So yeah, Wolves, up the Wolves. Trying to think, something interesting happened today or not. Although, this is going to sound pure rehearsed, or I've pure set this up to be like sarcastic or whatever, but I've just remembered, obviously the Euros was yesterday. It's been a crazy like 24 hours, man. Like, I must admit, I said this privately, I don't mind saying it on camera or whatever, but when Sancho and Rashford both missed, like, the first thing that went through my mind was just the pure like egg on face situation from Southgate in terms of the subs they made. They even dicked about getting them on the pitch. You know, they were meant to come on with like 27 minutes on the clock or something, and then there was a quick throw and they kind of felt a wee bit like, oh, you've screwed us out there, and then there seemed to be a wee bit of hesitation to kind of rush them on after that. So it was a weird kind of little vibe going on at that point. And you know, I think Rashford took a throw in and had a kick of the ball. I don't think Sancho got a touch in open play. And you know, it was one of those ones. If it doesn't hit, you're a fail. You know, it's up for criticism. You know, but if that hits, it's legendary mastermind status. That's what's on the line. You know, so I don't think that's really been spoken about too much. And I've not been on Twitter pure going through if I find tooth comb or anything. You know, but you know, bold moves like that, like, I think we all have to accept. In terms of some of the outrage and whatever people have heard. I heard the radio for a little spell today. I didn't want to really listen to it for far too long. I beg your pardon. And it was talking about Foden and this and that and all the rest of it, which is fine. But it was this close. You know, all that needs to happen is those 5 penalties from England go in, you know, or 4 of them or whatever the bare minimum would have been, and he will then go down as the tactical genius, the mastermind. You know, we all remember when Louis van Gaal brought on Tim Krul or whatever it was for the penalty shootout, and you know, it paid off and everyone was, oh, Van Gaal, he was so shrewd and experienced, and you know, he knew what he was doing in that tournament setting, and Krul was brilliant and whatever. But with Southgate, you don't get that, you know, because it did backfire. And I'm not defending him or anything, but I think the balance of everyone talking about what did happen, you also have to take into consider what he was trying to go for and how close it really, you know, when you get penalties, it is coin flipping, you know, so getting to that kind of situation and that you're trying to enhance your coin flip a little bit by stacking your forwards, you know, who wouldn't do that, you know, But anyway, I wonder if there's any questions from you guys. Okay, so I'm just kind of gibbering on now. But you know, if you are if you weren't a troublemaker, then I feel you're lost because there'd been a big final to go through. It was so boring, honestly. I'm not even making this up, right? See, after the first 10 minutes, I was like, they're going to win 1-0, and I literally like really struggled to stay awake, and I'm not joking. Between like the 15th, 17th minute up until about the 43rd or something, I just couldn't tell you anything that happened. I think I might have slept for about 2 minutes or something. And in the second half, up until like the 83rd minute or something, I think the second half was quite much like that as well. Like some of the defending from the Italians was like, you know, Chiellini, like seeing he grabbed Saka right at the end. He, you know, it was weird. I was watching that, and the thing that went through my mind was I felt as if I could read his mind in a weird way. Like I just thought straight away, like he's thinking, if I let go of him, no one's catching him. You know, that is exactly the way he's reacted. Is like, if I let go of this shirt, he is off, and no one is getting him. So you're going down. You know, he's just not messed about, has he? It's the most blatant of fouls you're ever going to see in your puff. But you know, that's just, you know, the ability he has. You know, it's that decision making and just that. You know, even raw power and strength to pull it off without hesitation and without hurting the guy and without being dangerous either. You know, like it's just I feel like 2-footed him or anything. Anywho, but it's just all the highs. Adam Valentini, good to see you. Malky Boy and Matty Boy are both in the house, or it's just Malky, but I'm saying Malky Boy. Evan is in the house. Moldy's back in town. We're talking about Southgate is a B Tech. Yeah, well. Just hit the thing. I think they're run-ups. Oh yeah, the run-ups were terrible. Who was it that done all the wee mini tiny steps? Was it Rashford? That was awful. Like that was painful to watch. Like my missus watches like zero football. She hates football, right? And I convinced her to watch penalties because she was in the room. And she called every penalty. I'm not even joking. She's like, score, miss, score, miss. She called them all. I think it was ripping out. You know, see the guys that did miss. It was like ripping out them that they weren't. You know, they were more nervous than confident. And I think every player going into penalty shootout is nervous and confident, but it's just that percentage, isn't it? What's the dominating bar in that kind of fight? Yeah, that's very true. Mikey Chiellini did not expect him to duck him either, but it was like the look on his face and just how quickly he made the decision and just how how direct a foul it was. You know, it was just like, if I let go of this shirt, like I am not letting go of the shirt no matter what. Because no one's catching this kid because he's lightning and he's clinical, which made, you know, see his penalty, like honestly I felt instantly bad for Saka. I was just like, oh my god, like that's not on him. It is on Sancho and Rashford, you know, the subs that were brought on. You know, if that's your job is to come on for penalties and you miss, like that is your can to carry, in my opinion, you know. But Saka taking the last one, it just seen his instant reaction. I felt it pure straight away. I was like, oh, I feel so bad for that man right now. Like bad. Like, you know that way sometimes when you're watching something like The Office or something like that, and something they're doing is very atypical of that program, but it's not funny and it's just pure sore. You're watching it, you're like, oh no, I feel so bad for that guy. It was that kind of gut wrench, I guess you would call it. Maguire's penalty was legendary. Honestly, smashed the camera. Like I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that. And that was like, wow. And he was so fired up. I got like an extra 5% respect for Maguire. I wouldn't say I have a particularly low respect for him, but I definitely don't have an overly inflated one either. But just how much that meant to me, just how he was like fucking pumped, man, you know, and he was just blast that thing, smashes the camera into probably oblivion. You know, fair play to you, big man. He done his part big time. I thought a lot of his passing, I was actually quite impressed with Maguire. Matty Boy is going to be kicking us off with the first SoRare question. It would seem, I've not went into it, but it just starts off saying question Quinny, and that's what I'm at. So I think I'll take off I just went out for a wee bit of fresh air before the stream, so I've left the jacket on. This is just a t-shirt, it's not a strip or anything tonight. I got a dig earlier on. I wore my Man City shirt in one of the videos. I think it was the club on How to Build Your Club. Somebody commented, what is that t-shirt you're wearing? So it's funny. Anyway, Matty Boy kicks us off. Question: with a gallery of around 15 ETH, what divisions should you be competing in? Leading question is currently only D4s really, and I think the answer would be D3. But what do you think? I think with 15 ETH, well, it depends, right? Because like I'm gonna say, right. The thing with D3, right, and the thing with like a gallery of like 15 ETH, right? If you're not entering D3 with what you have, I think you have to really look at how everything's spread in terms of like, forget the amount, right? If you've got 100% of your SoRare money in SoRare, right? 20% of that, do you want to go towards like the Cherkeys of this world? Do you want 20% of it to go towards a Neuer? Do you want 20% of it to go towards this one and that one? You know, that kind of profile, that kind of level of talent, or you know, whatever it is. And I think when you have that kind of zoomed out view of it's you know, forget the ETH amount, it's 100% of your SoRare money. You know, that is what it is basically. And I think it can help you kind of adjust portions more in line with what actually gets you going, whatever tickles your pickle, if that makes sense. So I would first of all think that, because if you've got 15 ETH, you've either got like tons of like good cards, like tons, but you don't have anything, you know, because like in this day and age, I can't imagine like not giving D3 a shot with one super rare or no super rares. If you've got like, we're talking caliber level here, right? But see if you're able to put out, let's even just use guys that are in season now, right? Typically over the last couple of months there's guys in Asia and there's guys in America that are consistently knocking out 60 pluses, like, you know, Kikuchis, guys that rock out hundreds, your mains, Matomas, you know, never mind MLS, we've got, you know, tons of talent all across that division. You know, there's lots of guys that are at that level. And if you put 5 of them together at rare level, you're going to be getting over 350 points. And when you're getting over 350 points, you're in the conversations for prizes, you know, especially now with the way the reward structure is built. So if you've not got 5 rares that are, you could even throw into D3 on the off chance, like, oh, one of them's a sub. I couldn't make another team without doing this anyway. So that's the first thing I would kind of ask on that, right? But in terms of overall, it really depends, as I say, what your percentages are, what your allocations are towards each type of profile of card in your club, in your gallery, you know, because you will, like, it's very easy, I do it all the time, like, I don't know if I'll maybe show you that another time. I've got boards in here, right, and I kind of lay out all my kind of cards and whatever and try and keep track of it. And there's sometimes where I'll go on, and you guys have seen me, you know, you guys watch the channel, you'll see when I'm acquiring cards and whatever. I'll go on little runs sometimes, and then I'll kind of take a wee step back and zoom out and go, oh, actually, man, I did not need any more midfielders. Or I didn't need another SR striker, or, you know, whatever it might be. You know, sometimes you just go, why did I do that? But hey, it's fun, and hey, if I'm keeping them and I like them, then nothing lost. But again, it depends how long you allow that yourself to carry on in that manner without checking yourself once in a while and go, right, okay, did I maybe need to take a wee step back? Did I maybe need to readjust? Did I maybe need to make some sacrifices? I've maybe overcommitted, or I've put a larger percentage, it turns out, into this category that I didn't realise. I now need to make a hard decision on it that I do X, Y, or Z, you know. But when it comes to divisions, with the cards you've got, you always want to be competing, in my opinion, for what you deem to be the best prize available. Now, I always attach, you know, just what global offers for me. Global and, of course, global U23, because they're the exact same thing, in essence, are the two primary divisions for me. Like, they are the ones that I always look forward to the most in terms of getting that lineup out for and being competitive in. And U23, as we know, just has a different caliber of prize available in terms of, you know, desire levels and how highly sought after they are. I was actually really unlucky this game week. I didn't realise Machida was away for Olympics. I thought that boat kind of passed him by because he played the last match, and I thought, okay, he's maybe not in the Olympic squad. Didn't really think to check it or ask anyone like a tit. So he DNP'd on me. The alternative would have been to play Trippier, who of course got an assist. I don't even know what score he got, but safe to say I was 40 points off of a tier 2. Safe to say whatever Trippier got, I dare say it would put me into tier 1 territory. But hey ho, we missed this one. We nailed the captain choice. Usami done his piece. Mensah done his piece. Even Slovic, you know, 37 points in a 1-1. I guess I can sleep with that. Up until Kim Sung-gyu conceded, he was on for like a 70 or something. He was scoring really well in that game. which is good to see. And then the rest of these guys just nada. The game week coming up, I've got He Diddly Squat going out. I've only got training squads, which is the first time that's happened to me in a good while. But anyway, so in terms of, sorry, I'll finish off. So Matty, you could have 15 ETH, right? But see if you are like strong in global D4, U23 D4, and then all regions available, then I think you're probably in a really good place. You know, stability wise, maybe you could give, you know, a haircut to some things, or maybe do some trades, or to try and maybe just, because what you'll find sometimes is you'll have a kind of missing piece of the puzzle situation, like Jordan Larson was for me last season. Like when I picked up that super rare, I picked it up so timely with his form. Like it's just, you know, you can't actually predict that. You know, that is just luck that I got it right at the perfect time to maximise probably his best portion of the season. Because the thing with good players, right, is they're never good all season long. Every player in the world, to a greater or lesser extent, is streaky. Now, whenever I personally refer to cards or players as streaky, it's probably because they're more streaky than not, or more streaky by comparison. But when I picked this up, it just went on an absolute run, and you know, like for a card I picked up in February, I think it was. Maybe this page here will tell me history. The 28th of February, right? He's went on and won me 5 cards, and they've all been belters, really. You know, well, not all belters, but Usami I've kept, Odilon I've kept, Vlasic was beast, Ramirez I gave away to one of you guys, and Cavallini I sold for 0.2. So that's a great haul for, you know, the last kind of portion of the season. But it wasn't just Jordan Larson, you know, because when I look at, you know, when you look at these rewards, right, there was one week where he was 32%, right, of the points that won the card, right. But there is also, the majority of them are quite in line with a normal contribution, around the 20% mark, you know, maybe a wee bit above average because he has a super rare, of course. But of course you've got 5 cards, so the average you would want to maybe ticking in with is around 20%, of course, of the contribution. You don't want anyone lagging by, and like this game week here where he's pulled in 18% of the score. So he's not done any, but what he's done is there's been existing cards that have been in those teams with him that have also been in good form, and just by adding him in at the right time, at the right price, at the right everything, it really unlocked a lot of what I already had that moved into that D3 kind of level. So I would definitely, you know, kind of have that kind of thing in mind. I know I've kind of went around in a few wee circles. I think I've lost the question again. I'm sure it was Matty Boy. It was Matty. So that's what I think. All of those who started straight on missed, sorry, that misses never called them all 2 saves, and even Rashi's miss. Oh wow. It's amazing how many times the team who misses first goes on to win. Yeah, it's penalties. It's just, see all these things that you are. See all these different patterns you're talking about with penalty shootouts. I don't recognise them because I just don't. I can honestly say that I've never gave them much thought, but I'll take all your observations on board, of course, and fair enough. If those are trends you've noticed, then yeah, that's funny. That's good. Even she also got the correct score in the 20-team World Cup and won 200 quid from £2. Wow, well done. Stefan is in the house. I didn't realise Stefan was the owner of one of the Tavon SRs. I sent a few DMs at direct offers. It was like, you know, it was all the same, but it was like 0.03, which is all my wallet is. All I've got is 0.03, and a Zoe, and I think that might have been it. But just in the off chance, European under 23 forwards, you know, for a wee American one. Obviously, it's NYC, which is why I want them. Thanks, Moldy Chuffed. Hey, I'm only sending out a 3-man team this week. Mikey, oof, brave. See, my problem is that I've only got Ki Sung Young playing, and that is it. Super rare, you know, so I cannot do anything with that, really. I think there's a leap to make in paying X for a good super rare player. But you're probably X. Yeah. Yeah, you're with me there, Matty. But I say sometimes it's just like you might already be at the level above, but you're just honestly like missing 1 or 2 cards, and it might even be like a goalkeeper. That it could be as simple as that, because having a goalkeeper that is likely to get 60s quite often, then that in itself is a great kind of base to have your defence of your team starting off with, because your defender is how you kind of think about the same in terms of their, you know, even if they have a, you know, they concede 1 goal or, you know, for a defender rather than the goalkeeper, blah blah blah. Yeah. I seen a good question coming in there from Hendo, good to see you in the house, my man. Benny YTB, good to see you. And yeah, okay, so we'll just go with Hendo's question. Which SR should I sign? My feet are itchy. Let's see what's on the market, Hendo. Let's see what's on the market. 177 super rares. I've not had to like. I'll always filter by favourites. I'm not going to do it for the stream, of course, because we'll just look as far abroad. Oh, I like wee Tyler Wolf, by the way. If he 4 hours to go, I've not got the E for him. I'm not kind of buying cards like that at the moment. But if I was looking for a wee punty U23 forward, I like that wee guy. It's not an endorsement, by the way. I've only seen him very small flashes. Wilfred Riviera, that's a nice looking card. Just like, I think super rare rookies look good. I think super rare rookies look better than rookie rares. Torgan Hazard is one that I've chased down, but he's went up to like, he was a bit in ETH the last time he went, so it's not one I'd buy on itchy feet certainly. Hummels up at treble 8. Do you know, I've not even looked at this, right? But see that bid of treble 8, I've got a good idea. I know who that is. And it's probably going to be You'll Never Walk Alone. He always bids mad numbers and stuff, not his Mamba. These guys always bid in mad numbers, like treble 6s and treble 8s and stuff like that. I don't know why. Obviously doesn't mean much. Claudio Bravo, by the way, 37. I see when he was playing all the way through, I was like, oh, imagine you had a Claudio Bravo right now. Imagine you had a Claudio Bravo like common, that'd be cheeky, wouldn't it? You know, so yeah, I don't know if that's up your alley or not. Seems like the best boys are coming out. I don't have many of them. Loren Moron was a fan favourite on the People's Portfolio if any's been around for that series. And at 26, his scores in the last 5 look pretty crap, but he can be okay. I don't know if I'd buy him on itchy feet right enough. I don't think there's too much real amazing choice on the would you McCray it on the primary. Well, it depends what your budget is, Hendo, and what you're really going for. But there's nothing I'm seeing like, oh, imagine getting that on the sneaky. Maybe Barry Al, because he looks to be a bit of a player, by the way. Do you know who's in for him? Sean Newsham, the mad guy that does RotoWire stuff. He knows his football. He's in for him. Yeah, Barry Allen's good. See what I just did there to Sean? I hate it when people do that to me, which is why I never bid on things. Because I'm just like, I don't want anyone else bidding on it. Anton Walks is in good form. I didn't realise he was 23, by the way. I want to see if he's still U23 eligible, because I'm thinking about you here, Hendo. Imagine pairing him if he is U23 with your Bello. No, he's not actually U23 anymore. That's a bummer. His scores, he scored a goal in the last game, which is up at 74. But he's been he's been in really good form this year, and Atlanta have been ropey, which says a lot about how good he is doing. And when they get back to full strength, which cannot come soon enough for me, by the way. Brad Knighton, if you want to sit on the handcuff, you know, for Turner, that's not a bad super rare goalkeeper to hold. Trap, I'm tempted to go for myself personally, one of his super rares, just because I quite like Frankfurt from having Kamada, you know, so why not? Champion Euro, it's Frankfurt, you know, but Christine Paredes, no, I don't think I know you. His name sounds familiar, but I don't know if it's just because it's like a generic South American name. Dewan Jones gets a good write up. Ephraim Waraz. Let's see what else we're talking about in the chat. I've just kind of went down a wee rabbit hole here. Buy Moldy's Vukovic SR. Vukovic, the goalkeeper now. Misaki. I'm looking at buying my first Champion Euro forward. Do you have any suggestions under 0.02? Sure, let's go for it. Champion Euro forward is the question, I take it. Benny? Let's go SO5 League Champion Euro, and I'll do my favourites on this, which maybe needs updated. Position, sorry. Forward. Mane. Mane, Fabio Silva, Ronaldo, Chiesa, Dybala. Oh, Dybala, by the way. See, the thing with Juve that excites me and worries me is that I don't really know what Allegri's going to do, because this team has been butchered really, like from a technical standpoint. You know, if you think about when Allegri and Conte were in at Juve, it was very much like, you know, everyone was on the same page in terms of the profile players they were buying, the sort of football they played, all that kind of thing was quite universal. You know, Pirlo was, you know, the main man in CDM, and they had other guys that came in and out. Guys like Tevez went to Juve, remember that? Evra, you know, they had lots of great players kind of coming and going, along with that kind of core of Marquisio and Vidal and Pogba when he was there. Also the ever presence in defence. Back then they had Barzagli for a long time as well, as you'll remember, I'm sure. But since you know, Allegri and Conte went out, and then they brought in Sarri and Pirlo, and it's just not worked out for them at all, really, to be honest. There's somebody else as well. I know I'm forgetting somebody that they've had in, but it's just been, you know, the train is just derailed in a lot of ways. The team has been playing weird formations in terms of what Allegri is probably more likely to play is go back to like 3-5-2 probably from when they were there before, maybe 4-3-3. I know he played both. But guys like Chiesa I'm not worried about in particular. But guys like Dybala, I'm like, oh, did he play Dybala? I've not really looked into it to that level, of course. Did he play Dybala? Lautaro Martinez is one of my favourites, and is one that I've been really like kind of Henry Onyekuru is back at Monaco. I don't really see him getting anywhere near the team. I think Stevan Jovetic, formerly in Man City, I think he's just been released, so maybe Onyekuru gets you know, bench minutes for Monaco. Maybe I would investigate that further, but he's back in Monaco, which is why he's listed as a champion Euro forward. If you don't know anything about Henry Onyekuru, I know a little bit about him, and a few Scottish football fans probably will as well, because Celtic were quite close to signing this kid, and he scored like 23 goals in Belgium for Eupen a season they got relegated, it turns out. And he didn't sign for us, he signed for, who did he go to? Was it Everton or something? And then they never played him, and then he's at Monaco, and they've no played him. You know, it's just, I think he did well like Galatasaray. I think they want him back, which, you know, if it happens, kind of scuppers your champion Euro angle. Look into that, because coming from the bench, Onyekuru could be good in the French league. Moise Kean, PSG are determined to keep a hold of. Don't know what that means for Icardi, by the way. Icardi might be a sneaky one. I don't know if he's in my favourites. Tino Cadawere could be good for next year. Rafa Leao. I love Rafa Leao. I love Rafa Leao, but I can't hold him out as a recommendation just for his current standing at the club, kind of thing, how many appearances he's making. We're thinking about a proper. I've got Fraser Hornby, the Scottish DNP himself. Steak Box here is selling as 1 of 100 Sorloth. If you want to join me in the Sorloth club, it sounds like Sorloth. Oh, yeah, but he's not going to be champion Euro. It sounds like Sorloth might. I've had like 2 offers from people from like Turkey. They have like Turkish kind of names. Messaging me saying, "Oh, Sorloth's coming to Trabzonspor. Sell me him. I'm like, nope. I'll keep him. We'll see what that happens. Timo Weah, I'd expect to get more minutes in Lille next year. Doku's expensive, of course. Sorry, I've not paid much consideration to prices. I've been scrolling through this. I'm just been kind of. Moussa Dembele could be. I know he's like. What was the budget again? Under 0.12. I'd see if he can maybe stretch to Moussa Dembele, because I see him being the main centre forward for Lyon next year. And if he is the main centre forward, if he gets, let's say he does crap and he gets 12 goals, like, which would be crap for somebody at Lyon, even 10, you know, those amount of scores in the champion Euro lineup could be decent, you know. So and I believe he is going to be the main guy there, unless they sign someone, but I think that's their intention. Daniele Maldini is just a pure punt, just because of his name, of course. Brian Broby could be, again, he's just nowhere near your budget, I'm sorry, son. Lihaji, can I do a filter by price? That might help. I don't know what 0.102 is, but let's go down to that. There we go. That should, yeah, about that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think there are other recommendations I've got. Maldini, Weah, Cadawere. He had a good season last year, by the way, and I would pick Cadawere over the other one. What's the other one's name again? The other winger, Toko Kambi. I would definitely pick Cadawere, just from what I've seen of Lyon last year. It's my own personal opinion. And I think Onyekuru, if you do your research and it turns out he could be an active bench player for Monaco, I think that could have good upside to it, you know. especially for that kind of price. If your budget's 0.12, that could maybe give you a wee bit of a saving. Maybe try and get something else on the side. Or as I say, Cadawere, you could probably pull him down at that price. Wea, I do expect to get more minutes next year. And the thing as well is with these Weas, is these are League One Championship winning season cards for Timo Weah, you know, who is when we had the peak down in, like, you know, the collector side of things like, taken off, like Timo Weah, the American players were ones that were carried on that crest, you know. So you know, me personally, like the card that came out before this is his rookie, fair enough, right? I go by that. But before that card, he had appeared for Celtic and PSG, you know, and he was like 16, 17 and 18 or whatever. So anyway, it's one of these ones where he's still young enough for it to definitely be classified as a rookie. But a championship winning card is like definitive. You know, they won the league this season. He played for them. He scored goals in this league winning campaign. So if he does get more minutes, because see when he was playing, like, I'm not going to go into it too much. You can have a look at it on SoRare data yourself, or will we just do it? Why not? His scores were decent. When he did get minutes, he did rely on decisives from the bench on occasion, but see when he did start, there were a few occasions it did happen. Like, I remember his scores being good. I'm not going to drill in right investigate it, but you can see like he can get those ones up there. That 40, what's that for? 76 minutes, which for, you know, forward isn't too bad, you know. Cause he was playing like kind of right winger for a few games. There's a 50 that won't have a decisive in it. Yeah. So he can do that, you know, because he was playing kind of like hard-working winger, forward striker kind of role, you know, one of those ones. So I expect him to get more minutes next year, but hey ho, who knows? Let's see what else you've got for me. I'm attempting to get back into MLS again, says Hoodwink. Any idea if Sisniga will get his place back? I have got no idea, and to be honest with you, I cannot see it happening unless this kid's been decent when he's came in, and I actually really like the kid, Romero or whatever his name is, and I don't think I would drop him. I don't even think Sisniga deserved to be dropped, but there was a mad stat that came out from like the podcast world, and it was that like his shots faced versus goals was like criminal. You know, the percentage was like crazy bad, even though he still had a couple of clean sheets to his name and low scoring, you know, losses, or, you know, just maybe conceded one goal in a game, that kind of thing. But apparently the actual stats on it were really bad. So I wouldn't be buying Sisniga. For you buying Sisniga today is the exact same as me buying Sisniga when I bought him, because there was another goalkeeper last year. I can't remember for the life of me who it was, but I think he was Dutch as well. And it was fucking Vermeer, the guy at Cincinnati. They had Vermeer and they had Sisniga, and it was like Vermeer, Sisniga, and it was that whole crap. And so when I bought Sisniga, it was in the exact same situation you'd be in. There's no idea. You need to buy him expecting he's not playing, and then if he does, it's a bonus. That's the angle you need to take with it. It paid off for me. I've still got mine. I got him really cheap. There'll probably be a good opportunity to get him cheap if you're happy to go down that road with him. But I wouldn't be buying him as your starting goalkeeper, because no. Top three: number one, Matt Turner; number two, Matt Turner; number three, Matt Turner. They're the goalkeepers you should be buying in that order. I knew somebody had a common. See, when I said that, I was like, yes, Mikey boy, Mikey's got the common. Bravo. That's why that came into my mind. I picked up a Guzan. Guzan's good. Good discount from being away at Gold Cup, and I really hope it does turn the corner and become good. At that price, I may actually go pick one up, because I've got a lot of Atlanta. Don't give Sean any love, folks. So do not give his fire stack any love. His fire stack, Andy, has been getting a lot of heat on your podcast, which I found funny. And you know, I have a Chicago Fire. Somebody said this to me on stream when I bought him. Like, I thought you hated Chicago Fire, and I kind of do, right? But I've watched him like 2 or 3 times now, and I bought this guy, and he's not really been playing the last 4 or 5 games, right? But I loved this guy when he was playing. Yeah, his DNP'd a wee bit. I think that Atlanta fixture only got like 2 minutes or something. I wouldn't look into that. But I think Chicago actually look kind of decent when they're on the ball and everything. It's just off the whole defence and whatever. But Madran, you know, the scores he just keeps pulling out is crazy good. Well, Jill, I've not got one. But Sean, you know, Sean knows his stuff. If you see, you know, someone who you know is like stat heavy, like a guy like that is quite blatantly, you know, very black and white on the numbers with like super rare purchases, you would imagine. Doesn't seem like a frivolous person like me and Hendo. Then that's definitely something that I'll take note of, you know. Kind of like you, Black, as well. If you pop up in something, I'll be like, oh, okay, noted. His fire stack is a 10-man accumulator bet. Pays off once in a while. SRD card finder. SRD card finder, what do you want me to do with that? Hey Quinny, what's your opinions on MLS goalkeepers at the moment? I think I've kind of covered it. With so many of the Gold Cup rotation, short contracts, and big goalkeepers like Diop and Fry in weird situations, is there any goalkeeper I should take a look at? I think the guy that's in number one is Seattle is quite well thought of. Portland's in a kind of funny situation as well. But I've been, it's really hard to talk kind of beyond kind of what I've got, because that's what you get so close to so quickly. I even think Jonathan Bond at Galaxy, by the way, I think he's overlooked a bit. Don't think he's overly incredible. Obviously, Brad Struver's get kind of the headline SO5 scores of the division, really. But I think this guy's been good, and don't get me wrong, like as you look at that last five there, they're all kind of in the 40s and whatever. But when I've seen him play, he's a good shot stopper and everything. LA just haven't had that many clean sheets. LA are in good form. I think they'll go far. And the thing with MLS, right, is like you want them to get high scores like Matt Turner will. For me, Matt Turner's the only goalkeeper. If you're gonna, because the price of Matt Turner versus any other MLS goalkeeper is not that wildly different that you shouldn't think about getting one at some point. I'm tempted to go buy a second if I'm quite honest with you. Because 0.425, and let's even look. I'd probably say Galacy. And again, it's really hard for me to talk about beyond what I own, okay? But Galacy done well for me with Peru. I did think about him in the off season, or not the off season, but the early season. Yeah, so you're paying not too far off the same for a Galacy. And some people would actually want you to pay more for a Galacy than for a Matt Turner. It would turn out, which I think is criminal, but I don't suppose they look at it like that when they're pricing them. Again, I'm going to say it for a third time, it's hard for me to look beyond what I own, but again, I think Sean Johnson's been good this year. He can get some big scores. NYC are a good team, they're going to go far. And again, the kind of price you can get him a bit cheaper, I suppose, and that'll be a Gold Cup discount kind of thing, I suspect. Knocking about, his auctions will probably go underpriced compared to what they have, so I'd maybe keep an eye on that. Because he comes back in as number one, undoubtedly. What was the other kind of thing you kind of dropped in there, like Diop? Well, I think Diop has been playing every game. No, actually, I heard on the RotoWire podcast there was something about Diop, actually. He's been DNPing last. Feels like those games have all kind of. Who was in goals for them then? I could have swore. Actually, I'm thinking about I watched the last Montreal game. Who did they have? Was it? Yeah, NYC. I seen the highlights for that. I thought Diop was in goals. I don't know who the backup is. I'm terribly sorry. I thought it was Diop. I follow League 1 a lot, and Niko Kovac rates him poorly, so I would be patient for Onyekuru. I think he'll get a move. I think I'll think about buying him. Okay, cool. Good to know, Benny. Good to know. Onyekuru is a classic foot pack filler card. Definitely is, isn't he? He was a great pickup. No clue who to get. And Molde say? Kuzan. Yeah, Kuzan's a good shout as well. The boy at LAFC doesn't have a card, unfortunately. At the moment, I'll talk about him. Fire but all great, and it makes me ill. Oh, Andy, see what I was meant to say to you as well is I tagged you in a thing on Twitter, and I was like, I didn't know you did co-commentary. I listened to that game. I'm sure it was Kansas against Galaxy. Or I watched the game, and when I was listening to the commentary, I was like, that guy sounds like somebody I know. Who is it? And then it was kind of at the end. I was like, I think it sounds like you anyway. Which is why I done that. Sorry if it came across any weird or whatever. Anyone got news on Yuma Suzuki? No, I've got no news on Yuma Suzuki. Now, what's going on? Is he transferring? Yuma Suzuki. I really like the other Suzuki. They only got like 2 J League cards or something. And it was like, you guys have heard me say this before, like, I only had like maybe 10 cards that I scouted really quickly in J League that I wanted to go and get. And the other Suzuki was one of them, and I thought, I'll get another one cheaper. And I didn't realise for about 2 months that he transferred to Belgium. They stopped printing cards for him. And I was like, oh. And in that time, it's for Beer Shoot. He scored like maybe 5 or 6 goals or something rapid in the season. It's like, oh, bastard, I wish I got him. Anyway, pointless story about nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any news on Suzuki. Sorry, pal. It sounded like Diop travelled back to France for family reasons, but heard the manager say he could only be gone for up to 3 months. He was first choice. Ouch, I didn't know that. That is a new one on me. I'm terribly sorry. See, sometimes, guys, it is hard for me to comment outside of what I'm close to, you know. I think, you know, for the Gold Cup being on at the moment, Kripal, by the way, I think has done amazingly scores-wise. But he was doing very well with I know before and shortly after I sold him, the scores were really good, which, you know, for how bad the Whitecaps have been, yeah, he's maybe kind of tailed off a little bit, but he's got big save power in him, and they face a lot of shots. They face a lot of shots. So, you know, I've got a guy called Slowick that some of you guys will be familiar with, who is a bottom team, and guys that face lots of shots, you know, as long as they don't concede 3, they can do okay on SO5, you know. Evening, Jonathan Roberts. Good to see you, my man. I was thinking, you know, I think it's maybe because you guys talk about this fire stack so often that I've been starting to look at my. How do I want to look at this? Let's just go scarcity super rare and then MLS. Because I've been looking at my MLS super rare contingent and I'm like, oh, I'm really close to like an Atlanta and or a Galaxy, like real big setup. And I suppose NYC, I've got 2 super rares now, but for like Galaxy, I've got Grand Seer, I've got Cabral, I've got Efren Alvarez, and is there somebody else? I think that's it, just the 3 of them. But I've got Barco, I've got Lopez, I've got Joseph Martinez, and I've got that wee defender now, Ronald Hernandez. I've got 4 super rares from Atlanta, which is quite cool. Who was the other ones again? Kessler, Matarita, no. And then the NYC, obviously I've got the Medina and the Acevedo, which is a cool midfield combo. So I'm thinking, man, I'm really close to getting like a kind of like, you know, stack of my own. You know, I was thinking if I got that Julian Araujo, you know, the defender guy at Galaxy, I'd have a really good Galaxy like super rare stack already. You know, without having a Chicharito. I've got Grand Seer, Cabral, Alvarez, that guy at the back, and then I just need a goalkeeper or just in general a goalkeeper, and that'd be quite a good run out, I think, with the way they play, and you know. So I have a wee bit of envy towards guys like that, and I think I've kind of unwittingly, I've kind of realised this over the last few days, and as I'm speaking to you now, maybe stumbled in to building something like that without really realising it. What I was looking at my MLS Super Rares not too long ago. One thing I was thinking is like one of the things that I get as feedback on occasion that I do think I need to do better with that is like staying kind of close to, you know, the non-super rare side of life and the D4 side of life in particular, and that kind of in those kind of levels of, you know, operation in the market. And you know, sometimes as I've said numerous times in the last couple of minutes, it's hard to comment on something beyond what you're close to at times. But when I look at my super rare build out, I think this is very much like starting a new gallery. You know, you've got the risky goalkeeper. If I look at almost, you know, if I pull in the Japanese ones as well, like I've got the Slovic who will play, who's at a crap team. I've got the risky Titan who might get a game one day if there is really a god. And then I've got this one and that one, a midfielder, a young guy, a defender, a big striker, a punt of a striker, a punt of a midfielder. This, you know, this kind of run out of 18 cards is a very, I'd say solid 8. It would be solid 18 rares to start your gallery with, or start your club or your collection or whatever. So I think there is like parallels, and this is actually going to be a full video I was going to do. I might still do it, I might not, depends how many people watch the stream, I suppose, but do a video just kind of talking about that kind of snapshot of just, or maybe I say add in the Japanese lads as well, so I've got like 4 super rares from them, and it just kind of fills it out a wee bit better, rounds it off a bit better. Let's see if I can even just add them in. J and K, 4 guys. So if I had them in, I think that's a decent lift. If I was starting out today and I had that as a goal and objective, I think I'd be in a decent place, like competition wise. You know, got some punts in there, some guys that are cheaper, some guys that are more expensive. And it, you know, when I kind of was looking at this the other day and I had this kind of thought passing through, I thought, you know, like it is scale. You know, it's such a cliche, right? But it is just scaling up. But it's just doing the same thing that you've done with rares, but you're doing it with super rares. And that's why so many people's first couple of super rares are cheap, like defenders, rotation guys that come off the bench, or you know, midfielders that will shoot 30 to 40 every game week, or whatever. Josh Forth, evening, good to see you. And then I think I've lost the chat again, sorry. Good to see you, Josh. Sounded like D up. Oh yeah, caught that. Caught you as well, Jonathan Roberts. There is one goes in on the market for 0.16, and the last one sold on auction for 0.138. Atlanta have been conceding goals, but one bonus is that he can pick up points from playing out from the back. He is always passing the ball, and it's part of the reason that Miles Robinson scores so high, because it always passes the ball to him. And Anton Walks as well, as we've seen his form earlier in the stream. His form is a big part of that as well. I'll try and catch up tomorrow, no problem, Rob. Hope you enjoy it. Tom Bradley, does Slovic worry you at all with 4J1? Yeah, no, it doesn't, because I bought Slovic for, as you can see here, it says £200. 0.375 ETH 6 months ago, and I bought him just to have a super rare goalkeeper that would give me a season. The only reason I say that when I bought him is because, like, let's call a spade, right? If you're 28 and you're the number one goalkeeper at a bottom end team in Japan, like, you know, could he just go back to Poland after this if it didn't work out? Yes, I'd say that's closer to reality than him staying in J2, to be honest with you. I'd probably see him going after games of bogey, let's go home kind of thing. Or try and move into like a league that, you know, maybe like Switzerland, you know, he could get back into. Think about where the guys from Japan are transferring to, you know. And what you'll have in some of these countries is like passport restrictions and international clearance and work permits and all that kind of stuff to jump through. This guy's Polish, doesn't really have that, of course, you know, so I'm not really worried about that. You know, there's some cards that I accept when I buy him at that stage that I will have the opportunity to cash out on him, and I have the opportunity to lose all of it on him. And for how well he's done for me, let's see actually if he has won me much, if anything, because I'm actually about to make a big statement here without actually really zooming into him for a while. I think I would have done it around my profit and loss thingy, but I'm sure he must have won me something. He's won me a goalkeeper. He's won me a rare goalkeeper, and let's see if he's won me anything. I know he's been churning ETH for me, in fact, in D4. So he's won me a goalkeeper that has won me 0.06 of an ETH, you know. So depending on how you kind of equate that, and then the goalkeeper, this guy should probably be still worth money. So I think he would. Anyway, I'm not worried about it, to be honest with you. And I think they might make it because he has done well. You know, there's every chance that happens as well. I grabbed a full Zenit team of SRs. Oh, Josh. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I know you got the Asmun. We were chatting about that. If you got Barrios would be brilliant. Wendell. Who's the goalkeeper? I think that's the question. Because you know, Lunev or Lunin or whatever one it is, just went to Leverkusen. Who's the goalkeeper? Oh, imagine they got Navas. Oh, I've just been thinking about teams for the last 2 or 3 days. Who could Navas go to? Imagine he went to Zenit. That would be cool. I don't think he would go to Russia. Maybe being Costa Rican. Yeah, I doubt that. Curious on your opinion, Quinny. Let's hear it. Squad G6. I am just starting for SoRare this season. Welcome. I hope you're having fun. I made a threshold team as well as a Euro Challenger focused on the big 3 teams from Portugal. Great move, yeah. The only thing you're kind of relying on, so you've went with Porto, Benfica, and Sporting Lisbon. You've built 3 Challenger teams, 3, you know, or you've built as well as a Euro Challenger team focused on the big 3 from Portugal. Yeah, so that's fine. The only thing with that is you're going to. So the great thing about that is all 3 of those teams are in Europe this year. You know, they'll all get into Europa League and Champions League group stages, you would imagine. So you might have some midweek football to contend with, and that might be. Sometimes that kind of situation can hinder you because it enhances the chances of rotation and unpredictable lineup selections. But it is more games then, you know, so depending on some of the guys you've picked up, if they've been a wee bit more, he's the backup guy on the bench, you might find that, you know what, the league match before the Europa League, or the league match before Champions League, he is the starting right back against Vitoria, or Setbull, or, you know, whatever team it is. And when you can work out a pattern like that, it can be quite predictable, and you can, the other guy played the cup game, means he'll probably play this game now, you know, that kind of thing, then it could work out. And if you've got absolute starters and you know that when they get deep into these competitions, they're always going to play in the bigger matches, you know, because that kind of rotation thing only goes on until it gets serious, really, you know. So I think that's good. So what I would probably want to do next, if I was you, is maybe get like, what, you know, it's hard to know without knowing exactly how you built it and whatever, right? But having a challenger team, you've basically got a Portuguese team is the point I've got in the front of my head, right? You don't have a Euro Challenger team, you've got a Portuguese team. So you only have competition if Portugal has competition. And Portugal's calendar is fairly in line with the main European one. But I think with all these Euro Challenger leagues, there is all a little bit of nuance on the span of the cup competitions, when the cup competitions get played, as well as things like winter breaks. Portugal isn't a big league either, so I don't think how many leagues is it? How many matches is it? Is it 34? You know, whereas something like the Eredivisie is a bigger surely the Divisie is bigger than Portugal. I think it, yeah, it has to be. Yeah, definitely has to be, in my opinion. Yeah, so yeah, so the amount of fixtures you then have available to you is just what Portugal has. You know, whereas if you're a Euro Challenger team, if you maybe had, like, say, rather than focusing on Porto, Benfica, and Sporting, maybe if you just picked the two out of the three, you know, the cards that equates to that you have, and then maybe swap the Porto team and maybe try and get like a couple of guys from PSV or from Ajax or from Anderlecht or Bruges, or insert other challenger team that's not in Portugal, you know, Zenit, you know, anyone, Spartak, because then it just gives you a wee bit more flexibility as well. Yeah, but it sounds great, mate. You know, I'm sure you get a really good, but I say just that's the first thing that jumps out to me when I read that is you more have a Portuguese team than you have a Euro Challenger team, which sounds like a weird thing to say, but I hope you know what I'm babbling on about. What are you going to try to do until the European season starts? Who are you going for, or what player profiles you're looking at? Me personally, I am just looking to kind of reinforce a lot of areas. So when I look at what I've got for, let's just look at, I'll look at Challenger. Let's just clear all filters, sorry. Challenger Europe, I don't have much, right? But what my Challenger Euro cards primarily are, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again to remind anyone who's maybe new to the stream or new to the content or whatever, right? The majority, if not all of these Challenger Euro cards, I look at them as global cards before I look at them as Challenger cards, because to me, these guys going into Challenger is a really competitive region, like a really competitive region. As you know, there is a wide variety of choice for really good players and really good cards. Forwards, midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers, they're everywhere. There's a lot of ones that are more affordable than many of their counterparts on the market. There's a wide variety of choice. There's a wide array of availability on a lot of them. You know, a lot of them are fluid in the market. People are always looking to make deals and sell them and trade them and all that kind of stuff. And when you, for me, I like buying these guys. Again, you'll see repeating patterns like this, I suppose, but these guys, for me, they're more powerful in global than they are in Challenger, because I can't, you know, I would imagine more people would put somebody like a Vlasic into Challenger rather than global, because I think some people would see that as a better opportunity for their Vlasic if Vlasic was like the main guy in their team. And again, a Challenger Euro, Challenger Euro D4, I could easily see Yannick Van Osch and Odilon and Falcao. I don't think these are, you know, I think these are Challenger cards for most people on the platform. Sanguer, yeah, and the 23s probably as well. But these guys, for me, going into global, I feel like I get more bang for my buck out of these guys, basically. So I don't really think about Challenger as a region, because I literally do just put a Challenger team out with any of these guys should I have surplus, or should they not make the grade, you know, this game week because of their fixtures. I've got a second little page here, so there's not much. I have a common Vlasic, which knocks about on occasion, and a common Onuachu, who knocks about on occasion. Very much less occasion. But yeah, so I don't primarily treat, as you can see, the goalkeeper options I've got. I've just won the Van Osch. I've got Odysseus, God knows what he's up to. Van der Vert, U23, Svilar, you know, whatever, blah blah blah. So Champion Euro, I'm just looking to really upgrade and strengthen. You guys know my kind of the darlings I have that I missed out on the marketplace in the past, you know. But Nicholas Dorsch has moved to Augsburg. I think that could be a good move for him. Augsburg are like a kind of solid mid-table team. You know, maybe like they'll finish 9th or 8th. They're kind of like Burnley, but they don't play 4-4-2. I think they play 3-5-2. But they were kind of like a dark, you know, I just kind of think of them as German Burnley, to be honest with you. They don't really, it's not a fair comparison by all accounts, but that's just my brain connection that I've got with them. So hey ho. Werner being in is great. Denier getting in is great. Van Dijk, honestly, I cannot wait to get Van Dijk. So I think for defence, I'm pretty well set. Goalkeepers, I'm definitely in light. I just don't know what's happening with Keylor Navas. Nubel being in town is cool. It kind of makes up for that in the interim, because last season all I had was Navas and Oblak. So just having Oblak and Nubel, I can live with that as well. And then we'll see what happens with Keylor Navas. But defence, I think I'm tight, man. I think I've got a great run out of defenders. I don't think I've got any weaknesses here, you know. Denier, France, Van Dijk, EPL, France for Tio, and then Robbo. So that, yeah, Ligue 1 and EPL in the top line there. Hakimi, Ligue 1, Trippier, Spain for now, hopefully he stays there. Chris Richards, probably Germany. Mancini, Italy. Gabriel, Premier League as well. So I've got a good coverage on got a good coverage on 3 divisions there, really, I suppose. I don't know what else I was expecting from Champion Euro, because there's only those leagues. But I've got, I don't think I've got any dead weight there, really. Chris Richards, by all accounts, is going back to Hoffenheim on loan. Gabriel should be the starter next year, hopefully for improvement. Mancini is going to be under Jose Mourinho. Cannot see that not going well. And then the rest of these guys are killers, So happy with my defence. I don't think I really need to buy any more defenders. And I kind of spoke of that in one of the videos I released today. I can't remember which one it was. Midfield, getting Dorsch in is nice now. It gives me a bit more of a cushion, along with Saul, who can be rotational. SoRare, who had a really good season, but it's yet to be seen if that will continue. And if it does, brilliant, but it is yet to be seen. Isco, don't know what's going to happen with him. He's a bit of a coin tosser at this point. Weston McKennie, I think, will do great under Allegri, so I'm actually looking forward to him. Cuisance, God knows. Wirtz, I think, will do good next year. Same with Kamada, same with Torres. Don't know about Kang. But the thing with my midfield, I kind of spoke about this before. Depending on what Renato Sanchez does, I think he'll be really brilliant. I think he'll be brilliant at Lille next year if he stays there, because they've just won the league. They'll be in Champions League. He's had a good tournament by all accounts. He is in the shop window, and having a Champions League campaign to be in the shop window is should be a really exciting prospect for a player like this. And I wouldn't be disappointed if he stayed. If depends on what club he actually ends up at, it might not be too great for him in SO5 wise, because you never know how moves pan out. As long as he's fit and playing and good fettle and good motivation, then I'd be really happy to see him stay at Lille, to be quite honest. But in terms of rare, like some of these guys are a bit soft. They are a bit kind of, they're streaky. They're all kind of streaky, I suppose. But I think I need another midfielder or two, to be honest with you, until I see what happens with Isco and Cuisance. If Isco leaves Real Madrid and plays for somebody full time, like, I think he'll be incredible. I think he'll be really good. I love Isco so much. So if it goes to somebody, he could even be Villarreal. I do not give a fuck. He could go anywhere as long as he plays every week. Real Sociedad, brilliant. Back to Malaga, wouldn't bother me as long as Malaga scored. I don't think they're in the league at the moment. Ferran Torres will always be down to rotation, and Kamada did great last year, but it's yet to be seen whether he'll stay in the team, because it's a change of manager now and all the rest of it. So there's just a bunch of question marks. Saul has been linked to Man City a bunch, see what happens there. So midfield is definitely what I need to upgrade on, or just get another reinforcement or two. Up top, I think I'm cool now. Werner's in. Felix, we'll see what he does next year. Cherki will probably be playing more next year, and I think Cherki next year will outperform Felix in my SO5, if I'm being honest. Sané, I'm happy to keep my card, but we'll see what happens with him. Paulinho's one of my big hopes. He's away with the Olympics now with the Brazilian team. They still took him to the Olympics, even though he's not played football all season. So, yeah, fucking great. Joe David will be great next year as well. Like, I expect him to step up in form as I do with Weah. And Sorloth, I think he'll be dropping out of Champion Euro and going back to Challenger. And if he does and he goes back to Trabzonspor, then he was a killer when he was over there. Diatta, we'll see what happens with his minutes. And Depay at Barca, I think, could be a fucking killer as well, by the way. So yeah, I'm quite stacked up front, I think, as well. I've got good choice selection for Champion Euro. And if you look at the actual numbers, it's a decent split numbers wise. 10 defenders, 12 midfielders, 11 forwards. And I said of the 12 midfielders, I think the Dorsch has kind of been brought in the back door almost. And somebody else, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But yeah, midfield is the main thing for me, to be honest. Not really too sure about profile. And Vlasic, that's who as well. Vlasic has just moved to AC Milan on loan from the sounds of it. So I actually might not need a midfielder anymore. Because Vlasic will be Champion Euro. And if he's good in that AC Milan team, that would be fucking great for me. So, yeah. Oh, guys, I think the chat has run away. What are you going to... Yeah, that's where I was. What's your thoughts on Jackson Conway? Graham Handley, that's a great question. Guys, I'm way behind on this chat, sorry. Jackson Conway. Oh! Yes, I was looking at this kid after he scored, didn't he? He looks like, he looks like Napoleon Dynamite or something in this picture, doesn't he? Yeah, he goes cheap, doesn't he? Did he score? I know his name. I didn't know his name when I wrote it there, but as soon as I seen his wee face, it's like, oh yeah, he scored. I don't expect anyone to get the minutes you've been seeing from these young forwards, and what I mean by that is Tyler Rolfe is even a midfielder, in fact. this kid, and there was somebody else, the other kid that played over Eric Lopez, like Chong or something. I think the first choice, in my opinion, the first choice team for Atlanta is Martinez, and either side of him is Barco and Moreno. Centre mids is Hindman and Sosa. Obviously Hindman's injured, that's why that changes. Fullbacks as they are, Lennon and Bello, and then back three, you know, this one and that one and the rest of it, you know, the team as it is. But when Joseph's out and when Hindman's out, everything, there's so much wonkiness going on with that team that a lot of players are coming in and filling different positions. Barco's dropped in, Moreno's stayed out wide, and then Eric Lopez has came in, played false nine, played the Joseph role. That Eric Torres has tried it as well, it's not paid off, you know. So I think now with Hindman being out, I think the dream front, I think Barco stays CM along with Sosa, but I think the front three is Moreno, Lopez and Martinez when they're all fit and available. I think that's what he goes with. That Moreno's looks really good, by the way. I would definitely consider his card. I think he's a wee bit older for some of you guys who love the under 23s. That Ronald Hernandez SR card you won, his transfer was discussed on the Price of Football podcast this morning about his transfer to Aberdeen. He couldn't get in Aberdeen or Atlanta team, but was playing in the Copa America. Aberdeen paid, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like, I've only kind of, do you know, after I kind of looked into it a wee bit, I was like, oh, I think I maybe read the thing in the Daily Record that said that Aberdeen bought this guy, but I didn't, you know, I don't read a lot of Scottish news, I don't follow Scottish football that closely, so outside the Celtic, of course, I don't track who Aberdeen are signing or who Dundee just sold to Brighton or whatever, you know, but yeah, so it kind of rang a wee bell for me. It is odd. I think he should be playing, you know, if he's an international, he's scored in the Copa America, as you say. Even at all, Chrissy Quirk, good to see you. Gambled on Kerzhikov staying as the number one for Zenit, but we'll see. Good to know. Mikhail's okay, so it seems to be unanimous then. Rob Turner's confirming. A young keeper has been playing the Fendleys. Kerzhikov. Ooh, that could be a name. Yeah. He's not young. Did anyone say he was young? Or did I make that up? Oh, a young keeper has been playing through the friendly, says Rob. Obviously, that not talking about Kerzhikov here. Yeah, I seen that actually. I think I might have favorited the guy. I can't remember his name now, but I think you're right. There is a young keeper been playing. Portugal's weekends off for cup rounds. Yeah, exactly, Mikey. There is like odd fixture patterns to every region in some way, shape, or form. Like Belgium has playoffs and Holland has some play. You know, and anyway, blah blah blah. There's some nuance to every division, which is kind of what we're speaking about earlier. But no, Mike, that's another great example of that. You're dead on as always. Joshy fourth. They've been split evenly on time. Okay. Which outfield position would you suggest spending the biggest percentage of your budget on? That's a really. So in terms of if you laid them all out on the table, goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward. Let's imagine goalkeeper isn't on the table because I think average per head, your goalkeeper is always going to be the biggest one. But outside of that, average per head, I'd probably say midfielder because you're just going to get more. It depends on the biggest percentage. I don't know. Midfielder is probably the one that's easy to say because again you do have so much choice and you've got so much good choice that you can spend good big money on. You know, guys like Vlasic and Sangar. You know, all the big hitters I had, like even Zella Ryan. You know, I was chatting with guys in chats earlier, and he's going for like 0.17 or something now, which is fucking criminal. So it's easy. I would say midfield is probably the best way to go because you can just buy a bunch of air quotes Zella Ryans. You know, you can even just buy 4 of them. You know, you know, and then just back Columbus pure heavily, or you know, or you can just buy like I say like 4 or 5 players of that level of that shelf. You know. Matty Boy is back again. That last one, sorry, was from Shrewsbury Wolf. What do you reckon happens to Champ Challenger super rare prices on the new seasons getting minted on the secondary? You have to find someone willing to sell, which can be difficult. There's so few of them. Yeah, I think so. This has happened already, right? Some of you might not know or have been exposed to it, right? But this kind of thing, because I'm feeling it now as well. When I go into the super rare market, I'm thinking, shit, man, you want 8 ETH for that, do you? Who's going to pay you 8 ETH for that? You know, all that shit. I can't believe how cheap a Madran super rare is, by the way. That is fucking criminal. Like 0.7. I don't see. I can only talk about what I've seen, and everything I've seen has been like seen like 2 matches maybe on television, and then like all the online highlights and stuff. But I think Chicago look good, man. Like I do, like I really have enjoyed watching them. That is mental. But there's guys outside that, I know what you mean. But so about January, February time, we had the same kind of thing, because there was a real shortage of auctions on MLS cards, and MLS cards went kind of like the same way after a big dip, you know, around right before everything kind of went mental in January. The market did have a quick dip right before that happened, and I managed to get a few quite cheap, and then even they did kind of dip a wee bit when Champion Euro and everything was running away, because that's the cards everyone wanted to have, and they were just kind of like out of fashion at the time. But then, you know, when everyone kind of sobered up, I suppose, and then it was just right, but these cards are so fucking dynamite, you know. Then basically the listings will be held on that until something comes out to challenge it. So what can challenge a price? Someone listing below the price is listed, or an auction coming out, and then the true market demand, the true market current price at this minute in time can then be realised and then can be known and stated for the record. But again, like, you know, I've said it before, to some extent with some things, like, I don't really give a fuck what the last thing went for. Like, if I'm looking to sell and I'm cheapest on the market, like, and it's not stupid, you know, like, it's not anything mental, then sometimes it's like, come on mate, you missed the auction, you didn't have enough to buy it at the time, you're coming to me now, then sometimes there's got to be a wee bit of that. Like the cheapest Madran here, like 0.7, if you went to him and you're like that, oh listen mate, the last auction was at 0.5 or something, 0.2, oh fuck, maybe you would talk to him about that. But that's criminal. That must have been before his form or whatever. When did that happen? 17th of the 6th. Yeah, so before this, before all of this. So yeah, that guy's getting nice and early. That's number one. Then you'd be like, come on, fuck mate, it's fucking Madran. You know, you're not gonna get him on auction easy because he's a big name. People will be following him. Muda Barrow, I had to double take that by the way, so I thought it was Musa Barrow. I couldn't believe it. But I think the prices will, like, see, the people who actually want to sell, they're just trying to hold out for max sell price. So that's what they're doing. If you go into DMs and talk to them, I'm sure you'll get you'll get something. If you'll find a middle ground to try and meet on. Whether that middle ground is suitable to you and you can actually meet somebody on that is another matter, of course. But I think most times people are just holding out for the most amount of money possible, and the only thing that will stop that will be, as they say, somebody undercutting the price or an auction coming out. They're the only two things that change that, other than direct conversation. And again, because there is so few of them at the moment, I think a few still have auctions to go out for, and if that's the case, again, you just need to watch when they come out and go for them, you know, because they're like hot potatoes. You've got to get on them as soon as they come out, because once they're gone, they're gone. There's only 10 of them, guys. Only 5 of them get auctioned. Only 5 of them can be won. Only the other 5 can only be won, I should say, I beg your pardon. So you got to take them while they're coming. It doesn't seem it seems like I've caught up with the chat, guys. I'm going to stop for a breath. I'm going to take a wee drink of juice, and I think I might call it a night there if you don't give me anything else to run on. I've had good fun. I ended up chatting some gibberish. Hopefully, I say there's a wee bit, maybe a wee bit of wisdom's come out there somehow, somewhere. I can't believe the time. Oh, we've only been for about an hour, so it's not too bad. I'm definitely off my bed after this, I think. I'll have myself a wee ruby doobie. Put to bed. Hope you enjoyed the videos that came out today, guys. There is, if you are a member, I should have said this earlier, I'm so sorry. If you are a member, I've booked it, I can't remember the date now. Go into the channel, hit the community tab. There's 2, you might be able to see 2 posts depending on what level of member you are. If you're the base member, you'll see the post telling you the time of the day and where to be. And if you're doing the nominations, you'll see a second post and it'll say nominations here. We've already had about 4 or 5 entries already, so thank you very much to those guys that are hot off the press, trying to get stuck in as quickly as possible. If we do get a lot, guys, it is 1 per person, but we'll do our best as always. But yeah, so watch out for that. 2 videos dropped today. There's probably another, I don't know, I've already kind of spoken about something I was going to make a video about. I may still make that video. And we've got a few other, maybe about 2 or 3 other videos that should come out over the next couple of days as well. I'm in a nice wee kind of vein of form. Everyone loves the waffle, don't they? Okay, some stuff has come in. Who did you want to win the Euros? Well, outside of Scotland, I'd probably like Belgium to win it for De Bruyne and Lukaku. I think they are like top shelf international footballers, you know, and they've both had peak seasons of sorts, you know. So I think I'd quite like Belgium to do it. At the beginning, I don't mind Italy, but I just didn't ever think Italy, and I don't think they really do even now. I never thought they really had the world class quality to go on and win the tournament. Bearing in mind France, you know, and Portugal. Portugal looks so good on paper. So and even Spain, like Spain looked really good as well. But Portugal, yeah, I'd probably, if you really asked me before the tournament, I think Portugal and Belgium would have been the two teams that I'd have really fancied outside of Scotland, of course. Could Bernat be a good pickup for PSG? Likely switching to a back three and him seemingly being readied as a first choice left wing back. Tom, why do you think they're going to a back three? Because of Ramos and Hakimi? So they're going to play, and I'm not quashing that, I'm just trying to lean into it here. So the back three is what? Marquinhos, Sergio Ramos, and Kimpembe. Okay, that sounds cool. Hakimi, Bernat, that'd be nice. Midfield, Verratti, Paredes, Lo Celso, or Verratti, Paredes, Di Maria, and then what, Mbappe, Neymar up top as a two, or maybe even it goes a three, put Di Maria, and then yeah, do 3-4-3. If you do 3-4-3, maybe Ander Herrera, Gini Wijnaldum actually as well. Yeah, okay, I think that. Yeah, that could definitely happen. And Bernat, well, they have been linked to Theo Hernandez, so. And did AC Milan not just sign a left back or something, or like a backup left back? Look into that. I think AC Milan have signed a left back or something or other. But Bernat could, you know, here, listen, he's a La Masia academy. As much as guys like Bernat, there's one or two guys that are just like him that knock about at teams like PSG, and I think Bernat was at Bayern as well. But there are La Masia graduates that Guardiola and, you know, guys that have worked with him and whatever, and then bought and took out of Barca and put into different clubs and whatever. So Bernat could actually realise some of his potential. Cause he's always been at big clubs, you know, Barca, Bayern, PSG. But it's just about him becoming like the left back of the team, I suppose. I'm more concerned about where Keylor Navas goes. Misaki loves the waffle. Portugal and Belgium, you must mean Wolves and Belgium. Yes, I do mean Wolves, sorry. Wolves or Belgium is who I wanted to win. But Wolves, guys, what do you think about this? Could Spurs become Wolves with Nuno in charge? You know, will they snap off Raul Jimenez and maybe pick up some guys off his? Or will he do just as good? Nuno, I think, is a top shelf manager, and he's probably like the kind of best placed person to go into Tottenham in world football at the moment. You know, having done well in the Prem, knowing the league tactically, knowing how to win matches and all that kind of thing, and how well he's done with good players, which is what he'll have at Tottenham, is good players. You know, he's not going into, you know, Watford or something and having to, you know, build a team from scratch and whatever else, or upgrade a team, or, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, had fun tonight, guys. Thank you again very much. I've kind of done the outro already, but yeah, check out the community tab. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff. I've got a little outro screen that's going to pop on there now. If you've watched this stream after we've been live, I thank you very much. This screen now will have on some other stuff that YouTube thinks that you might like to watch. Have a nice night, everyone who's watched this live. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
It's the tunnel.